coming up on this episode. Within the league, what would you say has been the most controversial moment this season?
The most controversial, I mean, I nib at a lot of stuff that I find controversial in the league, but I think...
So carry on listening to find out what Tolly thought was the most controversial moment within our league. Hello, welcome to the DraftCast. I am your host, Luke Headley. Today, I am joined by the manager of the Whacky Whipnuts, Tolly Oram, who we always look forward to having on the pod. How are you, Tolly?
Good, thanks. Thanks very much for bigging me up. I hope I live up to expectations. I'm very much excited to be back on.
Yeah, well, you definitely set your own bar with your last segment, so it's all on yourself, to be honest.
And the memes have lived on. I feel like particularly the Seagull one has lived on, which is good. It's good to have made a lasting impact.
So this episode's a bit different because we're sort of in the middle of a game week and there's no point really doing sort of looking at the league table and everything. So what I thought I would do is, as you're one of the top contenders for the league at the moment and are currently top, I thought I'd put some questions to you, a bit of a little sort of manager press conference interview, shall we say, something along them lines.
Bring it on.
And then you've got your segment as well, so we'll do that after.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sounds good.
Questions for T. This is what I've called this little segment. And I'll start with the first question. As one of the top contenders for the league, do you think you'll be gracious in a win? And what would be your first message into the WhatsApp group upon winning?
Okay, this is hypothetical because I do feel like, even though I've had a really good start to this game week, obviously, I think Jack, his squad, I think is the best of the top three, to be honest. But in the event that I am successful, and I would like to be, obviously, I would like to think I'd be gracious for sure. Less trolling than Tom, or maybe I would just troll Tom specifically and not the rest of the group. And my first message, I don't know, because I've never been chatting about revenge tours or saying I was a favourite because me and Tom were towards the bottom, in the first half of the season. So I'm just thankful to be in the top half. But I'll think of a message. I might have to make it a meme. I think my first message would probably be a custom meme. I haven't decided what it would be, but something along those lines.
Okay. Well, if you do it, I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. Second question. What would you say is the weakness in your team currently?
Oh, good question. Let me look at my team. The thing is, I'm quite happy. I'm currently stuck with a bit of a dodgy striker in Decordova Reed because I had to get rid of Mupe. But my weakness is probably, and the players I've got left, I think generally have quite good fixtures: West Ham, City, and Liverpool, and Everton. I think my weakness is probably Pep Roulette. I mean, Adam got absolutely shafted by Pep this week. What was it, 0 for 5, which I think is almost unheard of, and that could easily happen to me. He could easily drop Cancelo. He has done lots of times. Mahrez hasn't really played much Prem games recently, actually, more in Europe. So that would be a weakness, because if all four of them didn't play, I would be relying on my bench getting points. So the Pep Roulette. And like I say, Adam's been testament to that this week. So hopefully that has happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've got a decent... I think the players you've got from City would be quite unlucky if none of them played. Because they all sort of either play a similar position, so one of them has to play, or... Yeah.
Exactly, and I actually picked up Torres, not thinking he would do as well as he has, but because he seemed to be playing instead of Mahrez. So I was like, like you say, if one doesn't play... the other will, and Torres seemed to be playing in the Prem games and Mahrez was playing in Champions League, so I thought, okay, that'll work. And Cancelo seems to pop up in left and right back. Like I say, sometimes doesn't play, but yeah. Hopefully I don't get 0 for 4.
Yeah, that would be pretty demoralising, especially when we've got so few game weeks left.
I know, I can't afford, exactly, there's no time to recover now. Yeah, any slippage is fatal.
Yeah, and that's what's making it all interesting for the rest of us watching on.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So a lot of people have been coming out and saying who their first pick is going to be in the draft for the next season. Who do you think's the top of your list?
if I was first pick, and barring any mad summer signings like Messi or something, it would probably still have to be. And this sort of depends on which strikers are in midfield for some whatever reason. If Bamford's a midfielder or something. But it's not that I would pick him first. But probably if I was top, I would go for Fernandes. And then secondly, Salah, Son. If he's still a midfielder, Kane, and KDB. Those 4 or 5 will be my top, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit predictable. I chose Trent was my first pick this time. It obviously wasn't my first pick, so I picked like 8th or something. But I think that's worked out okay in the long run. He's probably one of the top 10 midfield. I haven't checked, but probably one of the top 10 defenders now because he's been bagging points recently. But he hasn't been as good as he was. And I think, you have to remind me who did the analysis, but it was clear that the midfielders are the ones, if you can get a super midfielder, they blitz the points usually.
Yeah.
It was someone's analysis.
Yeah, I think that was Jack, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. There's so many stats flying around this pod, Luke.
Yeah,
hard to keep up.
I should be better at keeping track of who's done what, shouldn't I? Anyway, next one.
Actually, shall I give you an outside pick? My outside pick would be Grealish or Martinez. But I don't think Martinez is going to repeat it. Sadly, I would love Villa to do like clean sheet madness again next year, but I would be pleasantly surprised if he does as well as he did this season. But they'd be my outside picks.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, next one. What do you say to all those that have publicly, myself included, slated you for the trades you've offered to other managers?
I mean, it's sometimes the criticism is valid, and sometimes I like just putting trades out there for the sake of it. But sometimes it's to open a negotiation, which never seems to happen.
Yeah.
I have had a few trades, probably more than other people in the league. I've traded with Adam, I think, James, and yourself. And I can see you started McCarthy this week, so I hope he does something for you. I think I heard that he was meant to play this one because Forster played the last. So.
Well, I had no choice. My other keeper
wasn't playing.
True.
Yeah, Lena wasn't playing. Yeah, true. And I got rid of Schmeichel in the end because wasn't any good. But that aside, when I see some of the other trades that get accepted, it baffles me. Maybe I've just got a reputation that no one accepts them. But James got Pogba for Gross. Obviously, Tom got Henderson from Meslier, which hasn't worked out for him. Obviously, Will got Fernandes for Pereira, pretty much. So sometimes when you see those trades happen, you're like, oh, maybe there's an appetite for something a bit more out left field, but never when it comes to me, which is what it is. What it is. But
you've done, I think where you are now, sort of, it hasn't affected you not having. Yeah,
had to rely on the free agents. There's been a few free agents I've missed. I've obviously did well, I think. Obviously, it's good luck, but did well getting Torres and Rafinha and Iheanacho. They're probably my top 3 free agents. Phillips as well, who I've got. But I missed out on it in the sense I was like, there's a few players which I was so close to picking up. And then I'm like, I'll wait for next week, and then I don't get it. And that was like Benteke and Eze for last week. I was really close to picking them up the week before. Sigurdsson a couple of weeks ago, Matheus Pereira a few weeks ago. Like, there's been a few where like I've either proposed it and then taken it off the list, or almost done a free waiver, but then kind of bottled it. But swings and roundabouts. I don't know how you've felt with the free agents, but I feel like it's largely gone okay.
Yeah, for me, free agents. Recently, I think I've not been patient enough with some of the people I've been bringing in, because I had Torres at one point.
Yeah,
and it's like I should have just waited it out. But I think I was like, we're so close to the end. I didn't feel like I could wait, so I've been getting people in and out like almost every week recently, and it does not help me at all. I don't think so. Yeah, something to learn for next time.
Torres, between like game 22 and 27, he got 4 points, and 27 was a double, and they had three double game weeks within that. So I don't blame you. But I found free waivers and free agents more fruitful than trading. Put it that way. Yeah. But I'm always open to trades. You know me. I'm always open to a trade.
I think everybody is. It's just like we've said many times, everybody wants to win the trade, don't they? So it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, next one. Who are your ones to watch manager-wise for the next season of the draft?
I think the ones to watch, I would say, number 1, Jack, especially if he doesn't win this year, which is a big if, but I mean, there's definitely within reason he'll finish somewhere in the top 3 and not top. So and he'll be like Revenge Tour cubed or something. So or squared. I don't know how many times we've got it now. So that he has to deliver the goods if he doesn't this season. Obviously, I don't really know much about our 2 new managers. They could definitely be outside bets. Otherwise, I would say Adam, because he's not had any rub of the green this season, particularly over the long run. But he probably knows more about football than any of us. So if he can get a good draft ordering and get a good starting team and maybe get a few good trades, I think he could do all right.
Yeah.
Likewise, George, he knows a lot about football. Probably spends a lot of time looking at his team. But I said it last podcast. I think he was over-invested in Arsenal, and it's not really worked out.
That was very.
That's not the only reason.
Yeah.
But and I think he's had Firmino all season, and he's hot and cold. That player, not a particularly great striker for someone playing for the top team. But George and Adam and Jack, obviously, yeah. But my favourite of those would be Jack, because if he doesn't win this season, I think he has to next season.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sorry, Luke, I didn't choose you.
That's fine. I don't. My team name says exactly where I expect to be. So, so within the league, what would you say has been the most controversial moment this season?
The most controversial. I mean, I nib at a lot of stuff that I find controversial in the league, but I think what would have been what would have been most controversial is had Will stayed up at the top with Fernandes, because I think I saw quite a few of us saw at the time that trade was stinky, that he got Fernandes, and if he had rallied to the top for a 3rd season in a row with a player he probably shouldn't have been able to get hold of, because I don't think if Richard got a consultation from the other managers, I'm sure the majority would have said that was terrible. That was quite controversial, I would say, but it hasn't worked out in the end for either one. So I think it becomes a bit less important. I mean that Henderson trade, which it was kicking off about, could have been the most controversial, but if Henderson had put it together, because that was a bit, I don't know, triple game week versus single game week, 1-for-1 doesn't sit right. Tom can't look himself in the reflection anymore, but it hasn't worked out, so that's not been a big deal. I don't know if there's been much else, to be fair. Like I say, those controversial trades haven't impacted. They've obviously impacted the standings, but haven't impacted the top positions as of yet. I mean, Jack's trade for Sterling, when he got Sterling off James, that was a bit controversial, a little bit as well, but I think he gave him Foden, so it's probably actually been more level over the long run. James just relentlessly gets with his players, so it's hard to keep track. But that's about it. Yeah, I would say it's there's always stuff kicking off, but I think I guess that Fernandes trade really set the
tone early on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How about you? What would you say? I
was expecting you to talk about the getting knocked out of the El Presidente Cup the way you did. But
with the post assist, that was annoying. I mean, that was only controversial in the sense that the game, messed with me. Obviously the trades is more. It's more the managers are messing with each other. Yeah. But no one can control when they give assists. I think who was it? There was an own goal. Oh, that Phillips own goal wasn't an own goal because it was on target. They make up they kind of And assists via the post, I don't think should be assists. I mean, I got one this week, so swings and roundabouts. But
yeah,
I mean, when a cross going into a good area doesn't count if the player doesn't touch it first, but a post assist does. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. But that was annoying. But I don't think I'd have won the final anyway. I think I remember at the time I would have got less points than the finalists. Was it? You? It was Lawrence, wasn't it?
Yes, Lawrence and myself. Yeah.
Oh, I might have less points than you overall, I think, in the next week. So, yeah. And we go again next week. We go again next time. And like I say, I got a post assist this weekend, so it happens.
Yeah. I would say my favourite moment, it's not really controversial, but my favourite moment was the El Presidente final, just because it went down to 1 point in the last game. And, I'd scored a ton of points from 2 players in that game, and I was like, I'm in. And then Ings comes on to score a penalty like late in the game. So it was just a great way for that final to have gone. So for me, that was sort of the best moment of the league this year.
Exactly what you want from a cup final, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to carry on from a similar sort of question, but do you think there's been anything that's happened within a game, an actual football game, that's been controversial or something that you just couldn't quite believe happened?
I don't know. There's so many stupid VAR decisions and like dodgy penalties or not penalties. Obviously, I remember more Villa ones because that's the ones I kind of care more about. I'm trying to think if it was anything particularly stupid this season. I mean, Watkins getting sent off last week was a bit annoying. That sticks in my mind. But I think overall, I find the offside decisions wind me up the most when it's like someone's toenail, and as George says, you can't tell when they've actually passed the ball, and they're drawing lines. Looks like stupid angles sometimes. It's like when they get disallowing goals for that reason, and it's not really clear. And obviously you miss out on points in fantasy, but just generally it's quite annoying for football. Like there should be a bit more of a margin for error. I don't think that can be totally scientific, but that's the one that's what gets me most of like the contentious decisions that we actually happen in games.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. I mean, I don't know if it levels out for all the teams in terms of being fair. If it's like, if you talking about that assist off the post, it knocked you out of the cup final, but then you had one later. So if every team has had it done against them, but then again for them, I don't know if it's equal or not. It's difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And final question. How confident are you going into the last few game weeks that you can win the league?
So going before this game week started, I would have put myself at like, I don't know, 10 to 30% because I felt like Jack's team has obviously Tom's got the point. Tom had the points above us, and Jack's team, like I say, has got Salah, Sterling, among others. I can just see as we speak, Harrison's racking up assists. But I got very good fortune last night, so I put myself at the other end of that now. Definitely above 50%. I don't want to get too ahead of myself or cocky, but I don't know. I do think it's a bit more coloured because I know I've had a good week already this week, which helps. I'd say I don't know, maybe 50. I'd give it 50-50, but I think Tom's going to struggle to keep up now, and that's not just to disrespect him, but I just feel like the players he's got are less likely to have mental weeks compared to Salah or Sterling. I think I'm looking at his midfield now. It's like Lookman, Thiago, Ali, Click. You never know. Click scored this week, so you never know. But it's all to play for. But definitely feeling happier now. If you'd asked me yesterday evening, I'd have given you a much different response.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Okay, that's all my questions. I think I'm going to do this with the remaining managers that come on. So if you're listening, up next will be Will Morris, manager for Gareth Northgate, who probably quite recently was in the runnings and has dropped out of it. So if you've got any questions for him, leave a comment below and we'll put them forward to him next time on the pod. Or for the managers within our league, send them over to me. We'll move on to your segment then, Tolly, this week.
So last time I did my feature, I brought you some memes, and this time I'm going to bring you two relatively quick top fives, and those are along the themes of mechanics and mascots. And there's a little hint as to what you might expect on the slide. So all will be revealed, don't worry, Luke. But we're going to start with mechanics. So you might remember a few months ago, there was this goal scored by Giroud where he hit it front post and it went through Patricio. And Jack made the comment that it's a class saving, but he landed on the ball, and obviously it went over the line beneath him. But unfortunately, at that point in time, he didn't have the time to run through the mechanics of goalkeeping with us armchair athletes. It's really, stuck with me that we missed out on spending some time running through the mechanics of goalkeeping. So I'm going to dedicate a few minutes now running through the mechanics of goalkeeping. And if you have any questions or any thoughts on the different top fives as we go through them, let me know, Luke. But hopefully you enjoy it. And then I'll move on to mascots after. So the first one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through different top 5 highlights, which kind of go through the mechanics of goalkeeping, kind of explain how you can make a class save and the best way to do it. So the first one, and they're all done by Premier League keepers, but not always in the Premier League. So this first one, and I'll show you the video, then I'll discuss it. So let's watch the video.
Okay.
This one, and the lesson on this save is it's a class save actually, because if you're not sure you're going to catch it, you should parry it. But he's just really unlucky that the ball went in under the bar. But it's quite similar to the Patricio save because it's actually a class save. Just unlucky that it goes over the line. But Karius does show you what the perfect technique to do in that situation is. If you're not sure you're going to catch it, go for the punch. And like I said, it's just really unlucky that it goes in. But I think you'll be hard pressed to find kind of any Premier League keeper that could save a shot like that. But that one's snuck in at number 5 of my highlight reel of mechanics of goalkeeper because that's the mechanic number 1. If in doubt, you need to parry it.
Okay.
And I hope you look forward to what's coming next. Number 2. I'm going to throw back time here. This is back in like 2006, 2007, so it's quite an older one. I think the commentators are being quite harsh on that one. It's a bit of a throwback, and Jaskalainen is obviously a Premier League great. And in this case, he knows that a goal kick is actually quite a dangerous situation, especially when your team is lined up with the likes of Cohen and Danny Shitu, and that was actually Gary Cahill was in the team at that point in time. And he knows the goal kick is actually a very dangerous situation. So he makes, and a lot of other keepers, less good keepers, would let that shot, go miles wide, go for a goal kick. But he gets down really well, makes a class save to prevent that goal kick, and he's just unlucky that it goes in. But you could say that a goal kick is more dangerous than a goal. So again, second class save to make unorthodox saves to prevent things that other keepers might not spot. So. Bit back in time, but that made it number 2 on my list on the mechanics of goalkeeping.
Number 2 or number
next, 4? Number 4. We'll do. Okay, I've listed them in the wrong way, but we'll call it number 4. Number 3. This is one of my favourites. So this is in the international setting, but it just goes to show that class saves can also be made by England keepers. So here we go. So in this case, I think you can really see why not only is Carson in the Premier League winning squad and possibly a Champions League winning squad, but also is an international goalkeeper. In this case, the ball is like rocketing towards that top corner. He makes a great save to get a touch on it. His technique was style of like a cricket fielder, which you might not expect. But he's just really unlucky that the ball's destined to go top corner. But he did great to get something on it at least. A lot of keepers probably wouldn't get anything on that when it's going top corner like that. So, and I was actually quite buzzing to see him play last night. I made this slide deck ahead of last night. I made it early in the week. And, I was buzzing to see him get a guard of honour. He's probably the only Premier League keeper ever to have, in a season, all his games have a guard of honour, all his games have a penalty save, fantasy football points, all his games have had a bonus point attached. So, what a legend. And I mean, that England one, what's that? That's back in the Euros in the early mid-2000s. So, this is probably 14 years on. Still doing it at the top level. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of saying, it's a class A because, he gets something on it and not many keepers would. And he's just unlucky. He's very unlucky that it didn't save it completely. But what a legend. Number 2. Or number 4, depending which way you're looking at it. This is a different one. This is a class non-save, but the referee made a massive mistake. Let's watch what happens. And I say that's the class non-save because as the commentator said in the first instance, he let it go through. And Anchorman knows that if he touches that ball and then, God forbid, it then goes in, that the referee has to give a goal. But you can't just throw the ball into the net. That's why Rory Delap could never just launch one into net. It has to get a touch on it first. So he sees the ball's taken a bobble. He lets it go, thinking he'll get, I guess it'll be a foul throw or something. And it wouldn't have been a goal. But for some inexplicable reason, the ref gave that goal in a Birmingham derby. But, in the world of VAR, I think, we would have acknowledged the fact that he didn't touch the ball and it was a class non-save. Sometimes good goalkeeping is not touching the ball. It's letting it go into the net and then getting... a foul throw or whatever the alternative would be. So a class non-save. Obviously hurtful for a Villa fan to have to watch that, but it's all on the ref and not on the goalkeeper. And then finally, is a genuinely class save to keep a team in the Prem. I don't know if anyone saw this one coming, but let's see what happens in case anyone's forgotten. So, this is an international Norwegian goalkeeper. He's keeping his team in the Prem. Great save, very difficult ball to catch. He catches it, takes a big knock from big Kieran Davis. I don't think anyone would actually stay on their feet. He stays on his feet when he gets knocked by Kieran Davis. A lot of people just go straight on the floor. And as you can see, actually, a lot of Sheffield players try and deceive the ref, try and con the ref. It's quite disgusting. But, the ref looks at his watch, having none of it. The watch is never wrong. I don't think he's ever made a goal line mistake before this point, so why would it make one now? And the keeper knows, as long as he's got that ball touching the post, even from behind the line, it can't be a goal. And therefore, yeah, as I said, phenomenal save to keep a team in the Prem. That's how I thought I'd wrap that one up. Do you enjoy that, Luke? Do you feel a bit more informed about goalkeeping?
Yeah, I feel like I can keep a clean sheet in our 5-side games now.
Excellent. I'd love to hear that. I have to get you on my. Give Rich a good run for his money. And I'm sure Jack will be taking notes during that whole bit. So he can carry that over to his old Wikitonians. I saw he sent some stats around. He conceded, something like a couple of dozen goals this season. So I'm sure he'll be taking notes from that bit. And then let's move on to my second part. Another quick top 5. And I think you'll like this one more, Luke, if I say so myself. It's mascots. Team mascots in the form of top trumps. Now, every draft team needs a mascot. And I've taken the privilege of highlighting some of, the cutest, my favourite mascots in the draft league and turned them into a top trump card. Okay. Caveat, I know top trump cards, usually have the same categories on the card, but I've taken some liberties there. So I don't want anyone calling me out on that.
I mean, it's your own game. You get to make the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate that. So first up, and this is in no particular order because I know people get very emotive about this subject. But first up is the team mascot for Ajax. As you can see, a very cute Cocker Spaniel. I've given it big marks on the cute factor, especially because he's got silky ears and he has really silky fur too. But unfortunately, you might not ever see. Have you ever seen this dog before, Luke?
Maybe once or twice.
Exactly. A lack of pics in the chat, and that's really negative marks on the top trump card, sadly, for that mascot. I'd like to see more pics personally, and if George, if you're listening, do send over a pic ASAP. I'm not gonna name the pets because I know that some people use them as passwords and stuff, so we'll keep them anonymous. But yeah, that was number 1. Sorry, number 2, we've got. The news mascot. I think the stats are quite self-explanatory. Massive stats when it comes to having a big head, being a staffy, and also having more muscle than the Hulk. I think I've met her only once or twice, but yeah, she's a unit. Absolute legend. And that's a really cute pic. I'm sure Jack might be able to source some other cute pics for us again. Open to having them. I should say the mascots and those two, I guess there's a bit more forgiveness because they live with the players' parents, so that's maybe why we get less pics of those. Up next, Luke, is a mascot you may well be familiar with. I've given her big marks on sleepiness, especially pretty much based on that pic. A solid 50 for Alsatianness, and then 50 is who knows what, what, but 50 something else. She's kind of like an Alsatian, which has been put in the shrinking machine from like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or something. Yeah. And also, I've given her, pretty solid marks on ear floppiness. I remember when we went for a walk together, her ears bobbing around all over the place when she's trotting along.
She's currently taking a massive nap on my bed, so sleepiness.
There we go, perfect. Yeah. Might have to up the score to 100. Next up is one of the group's favourites. There's a lot to say about this dog. I was debating what categories to choose, to be honest, but I've gone for Zoomies based on. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it because we just have so many pictures in that video in our chat. Sorry, the video of him flying like a UFO. And there's also that video of him, getting to know James pretty well. So I've given him big marks on the Zoomies. Well, I think he's calmed down a bit now. He's had some surgical adjustments to his testosterone levels. I've given him big marks on having a face like his owner, particularly the eyes. No comment, they're very cute, but I think if anyone sees a picture of Walnut and Will, they're like, oh yeah, I can see the resemblance. And also a negative score on the muscle. I don't know if you've met Walnut. You must you met Walnut, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, very compared to the likes of Dot or there goes Sid.
I was going to name names, and then you've named 2.
Walnut and
lean.
Dot. Yeah, he's lean. Yeah, you might feel free to edit or not. We'll see. Whatever works best. Yeah, he's very lean, and yeah, lacks muscle compared to the likes of the news mascot and the last one coming up. So finally, and also I should say that that dog is also a mascot for me as well. And finally, is the one we were waiting for. Well, I was waiting for the mascot for Whipnuts and Pesky. She almost maxes out on the dirt factor. She has very, very sharp snack senses. And I think she's even been known to feign death due to lack of snacks, which, really is commitment to the cause. And she also has a very, I think she's usually quite well behaved when she plays with your dog, Luke, but she has a very solid headbutt, which she utilizes with great effect when playing with other dogs. Kind of her technique is to just charge at them head first and barge at them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think she's usually well behaved when they're going for walks together. Yeah, so they were my 5 top trumps. I haven't given them an order, but I thought I'd give them a shout out because everyone loves them. And there's one special mention which didn't make this list, and that is Adam's mascot. We get these videos. I would say we get like 20 of them a weekend, maybe, if we're lucky. And that dog's always there, and I love it. It shows that
if he has a name or she.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I thought I'd give a special shout out to Adam's little metal dog. I've even got Luna with me.
Have you?
Today. Yeah, that's right. I'm giving her treats right now. Let's see if you can hear it when I give her a treat. Luna, let me get the microphone out. Good girl. Yeah, do enjoy that, Luke. That was some audio visual of Luna eating a treat.
There was some noise there. Whether it'll come through in the final episode, I don't know. Yeah,
we can just skip that if not. And then that was it. So I did my top 5 on mechanics. I think everyone learned a bit about goalkeeping, especially Jack, I'm sure. We did 5 in no particular order mascots, and I look forward to seeing more pics posted from everyone's mascot. And then just to finish off, I thought I'd say happy birthday to Mr. Pesky. It was his birthday yesterday, as we all know. That's a really cute picture of him from one of his old birthday parties at our house. And that's Mr. Morris to his right, looking on top form.
Nice.
That's it. Thanks, Luke. Hope you enjoyed that.
Thanks, Tolly. Yeah, that was good. Very, very informative with the how to be a goalkeeper, and then, as always, a bit of a fun side with the mascots. I like it.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, that was a great segment as always. I think you've kept your bar high, Tolly. So we will have to see what you bring next time. Now, next time, maybe over the summer or next season. Yeah, I haven't decided what we're going to do. Maybe something during the Euros, or just something slightly different during the summer break, shall we say? So
sounds good.
Make sure you keep your notifications on for the YouTube channel, and then you'll get pinged whenever there's an episode. And yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for coming on again, Tolly. Great set of questions and answers. Great segment. Yeah, make sure you get your question in as well if you've got one for Will for next time. Yeah, so say goodbye, Tolly.
Thanks. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for having me, Luke, and pleasure as always. And thanks again for hosting.
Yep, of course. It's always good to have you back, and looking forward to next time. So, yes, again, like you said, thanks for listening, everybody. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. It does help us out. And yeah, this is the DraftCast. And remember, draft is life. See you next time.